Right, so this is the instrument cluster out of my Toyota Coaster, and it's just had a time belt replaced, and the I need to reset the warning indicator on here, and it's just done by changing a screw, which is just here. I believe it's just there. Yeah, 0 and 10. So I just see as a screw, which I need to take out of there and put it to there. And this requires a replacement every 100,000 K. So the I just need to change that. So every 100,000 it does one. Well, I think it's like 0 to 100 is that one. 100 to 200 is in that one. So now it's 300 to 400 be that one. Or 200 to 300 something like that. Anyway, 200 to 300, yeah. But I've also got a blown bulb on the indicator for the exhaust brake, which is one of these ones over here. I can't remember exactly which one it is. And this is a bit dusty actually. Really, just keep it all clean. It needs to clean. Anyway, so I need to look through these and to see which one's which. And I was going to check all the bulbs in case if any got any other ones which are blown, which I haven't noticed, because that's possible. And just make sure everything's all looking okay, and make sure the screws are tight and that kind of thing, and just give it a bit of a once over. And the interesting thing about this, there's actually a flex cable as well as a flex PCB. Basically the whole thing's a flex PCB. If you look in here, it's actually like it's just the PCB folded over that with the bare copper and all these, and the connectors just go into that. So I'm actually really surprised by that particular layout, but that's the way they've done it. So I'll probably give all those a clean as well, and see if that changed anything. There's obviously an option here as well for something else, but doesn't really surprise me. It's probably the same cluster they use for various things. So we shall give it a clean up and go from there. Okay, so first things first, let's change the screw before I forget about it, because otherwise I'll do the bulbs and I'll forget to do the screw, and that'd be annoying. So let's get this out. And we do, take it out and put it there. And that is it. Now it's interesting that let's just make sure these other screws are nice and tight. And now it's got these resistors on the back here, which is quite interesting. I wonder what they're actually for. That one's a bit loose. That one's a bit loose. Loose. I mean, it's getting a fair bit of vibration, you know. This has probably never been checked since the thing was built, so tightening these up a little bit is probably a good idea, and hopefully not a horrendous mistake. The one issue I actually have with this bus is the, as I've done a video on, was the oil level indicator coming on, which is a poor earth connection. And I do actually have the service manual for this, and I'm not quite sure where it is. Charge. Oh, some of these things are labelled, some aren't. Ignition. Charge there. Ignition over there. It's not much. Not very much of it all is labelled. So it could actually be that there's a an issue, but it's most likely with the sensor. Because I think it has to make contact in order to work. If it doesn't make contact, it doesn't work. Something like that. So it's probably. I did do a video on a sensor. I did actually change it. It did improve it slightly. What the work I did on the video before, but it didn't actually fix it. So I think the sensor itself is actually faulty. I think it's like a temperature and temperature related thing too. I think it has to be up to temperature. So it might be a thermal problem with that. But anyway, that's digressing. So I need to check all these bulbs and see what the hell is going on. So I've got all these various empty spots. So let's just turn around just to start with and try and figure out what they are. Where's my torch gone? Here it is. Alright. Try to get on here. Where is it? Where is it? I had it just now. I lost it again. Here we go. So that one there says exit. Nothing else appears to be on there. And this side here, if I can get anything to light up, it'd be good. Oh, there we go. Snow. Okay. That's obviously an option I don't have set up in here. So, whether there's supposed to be bulbs in it, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously all the connections are there, but whether it's maybe the exit, maybe that should be on if the swing door's open. But no, there's already an indicator for that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm digressing slightly. Like I said, I need to check every single one of these bulbs, and of course, all in parallel. I can't just like probe one and go, oh, check that. Well, some of the backlight ones are anyway, but some of these other ones are probably not the case. So I take them all out individually and check every single one, because obviously if it's fitted, I'm going to replace it with something. Yeah, see, I don't have any 24 volt bulbs, and that's part of the problem I've got as well. So I'm probably going to have to do some kind of bodges with these bulb holders. Now that one there had marks on it when I pulled it out to show you actually see where the wire dug in. You can see here, hopefully. Get a bit closer, you can see where it's actually got witness marks where it's gone in there. And none of the others seem to have that, so there's nothing there to show anything's ever been in any of these other ones. So I suspect that they are all fine and have never been used. Not like someone's taken one out to replace another one, you know, because who knows, this thing's 20 years old, so you know, who knows what its history has been like. I've had it for what, 3 years now I think I've had this vehicle, something like that. So anyway, so I'm going to check all these bulbs out. I won't bore you too much with that, but I will get a tester here out and I'll start testing. I'll just do one or two just to demonstrate what I'm doing. So let's just start with this one I just took out just now. So stick the probe on there, stick the other probe on there. Okay, I've got it on diode test, but the resistance is a little bit too high to trigger the sounder. It didn't go on diode test, hold on. Yes it did. Right, ohms it is. So that's measuring about 4 mega ohms. That can't be right. And getting some K there. This is going to be a bit tricky. Getting mega ohms again. And this one is blind. Who knows, maybe that one is blind. Let's try another one. Getting mega ohms again. But it's jumping over the place. I don't know. I might have to re-look at that. I would have thought I'd be getting lower values. But it's all a bit, you know, quite old. There's a bit of corrosion and stuff in there, so well, there's going to be some kind of oxidation, if I can even say it. That's showing mega ohms as well, so there is something there, but they're all reading around mega ohms, you know, around 2 mega ohms or so. So maybe that's fine, but that's the plan anyway. Right, so what I've decided to do is to get my little fiberglass polishing tool out. You know, let's give these a bit of a clean with it, just to try and remove any oxidation that may be there. Because it does appear to be poor connections, because mega ohms just does not seem right for these bulbs. It should be lower than that. So it's going to do a little bit there, and also on the flat flex side as well. Well, the flexible PCB, FlexiB, or I don't know what you call it. Because these I've sort of dug in a little bit too. So who knows, it might be that the bulb isn't even gone. It might just be that the connections are bad. Well, I haven't seen it flicking or anything like that, just gone, stopped working. So let's try again. In there and in there. I'm seeing nothing on this one. This one may be gone. Oh, there we go. That's showing 49 ohms, nice and stable. This one here, it's doing 109 ohms. Bit of a difference there. So we'll do like a before and after, I don't know, maybe. That's showing 66 there. So this one here actually seems a little bit high, but anyway. So well, give them a bit of a clean up. It can't do any harm, can it? Really? You know, it can only improve them. For all this time. You know, hopefully this is what it needs to keep it all nice. This little thing here comes in really handy. It's supposed to be for cleaning PCBs, but you can use it all sorts of things. You know, doing this is good. And got 119 again there. So that's changed. It was 66 before. There's 58. So maybe it's just still dodgy connections on here. Maybe I'll have to get into with some alcohol as well. Come on. Yeah. Don't trust this first one. Showing 160 again. So I think they all need cleaning, but that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do that on all of them, and we'll see how we go. Alright, so I've gone around and cleaned up all the connections. I haven't done the screw connections, but they're probably fine anyway. But I've done all these other ones, and also cleaned up these ones up here. Now, these are probably like gold plate or something to stop tarnishing. It wouldn't surprise me. So when I've been doing this cleaning up, I've only done just a little bit. I haven't done a huge amount. I'm not trying to, completely destroy the surface. I'm just trying to get any residue off and just get a nice shiny surface again. So that's what I've been doing. Just going just a little bit, just get shiny. That's it, and stop. So it doesn't take much, a few brushes and that's it. So it's an important fact to consider. You don't want to be doing stuff too much. So now I'm going to test the bulbs. Now I've got my clip leads here. I'm just going to test them one at a time. Now I'm shoving 12 volts in. This is supposed to be 24 volt. Yep, so there you go. So that's 12 volt and that's glowing. That's fine. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Well, this is an indicator, so it should be absolutely fine. I don't think this one's got an issue. That's fine. So I'm just going to go and do all of these. Just in case there's any bulbs I don't actually realise are even blown, which is possible. It's okay. So I know the exhaust brake indicator isn't coming on, so hopefully it's a bulb and not something else. I'm hoping it's something simple. Let's just do these ones first. Get these out of the way. Do the big ones first. Hopefully I'm not out of shot. Let's move it closer. Don't know if I did this one or not. Yeah, I didn't. So right. So get these ones done. Nothing there. That one there. It's got nothing. Get it around. Okay, I don't know if it's because it needs 24 volts rather than 12. Let's try another one. See, that one lights up. So that one there is gone. 12 volt is working, so that one there is blown. That one there is also not lighting up. That one there also appears to be blown. So how many bulbs have actually gone in this thing? Well, next one. That one lights up. That one lights up. So I've definitely got two so far. I'll come back in a minute and actually see which ones have gone and test them. I don't think I did that one yet, did I? Not sure how exciting a video this is, but maybe I'll stop this and you can actually no, I might try a fast forward effect. I might give that a go, see if I can do that, if I'm able to do it, otherwise it might be a bit long. Well, hopefully it looks like it's just those two. Okay. What are those two? Let's find out. Really? Okay. That's interesting. So, try and get this lit up so you can see. Hopefully. Let's see if I can stand up, it'd be good. Kind of wedged in my chair's a bit too long. So there we go. So that's the exhaust brake. and that one there is a handbrake, which I know worked. So maybe that bulb has only recently gone, or maybe I've got a bad connection there. So let's just try those ones again. I know the handbrake light worked because I've seen that working. So that bulb definitely does want to go. Nothing at all. Try this one. No, that one's going now. I may have had a bad connection before, so that one is working. So right, that will be the handbrake one that was in there. I'll put that back in the same place. So that's the one which is blowing the exhaust brake. So engine brake, we want to call it. It's up to you. But so I need to sort out something for this bulb now. Fortunately, I don't have any of these bulbs, so I will figure out something. That's going to be interesting. I've actually tried to find these kinds of bulbs before, and I haven't been able to find any. Just to go into like Repco, Super Cheap Auto, those kinds of places, like automotive suppliers, parts places. We should normally be able to get bulbs, and trying to find 24-volt bulbs like this, haven't been able to find them. Right, so I've been unable to obtain a bulb for this thing. Surprise, surprise. Where will I put it? Oh, it's here. So I went to Repco, Super Cheap Auto, none, don't have any. And my local garage tried to get some in, and they got supplied 12-volt bulbs, not 24-volt bulbs, and the holders are all different and stuff like that as well. So it's like, I think this holders must be for 24-volt only or something. Seem to be different, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so I managed to find some in China. AliExpress has got them, of course. So I've ordered some from there, but it's going to take probably a month, and I need to put this back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ultra bright LED. Right, this is the fused LED. I use them for all sorts of things. So I'm going to use one of these. I've used these particular LEDs in the dashboard switches, the illumination for those, because all those are blown as well. When I got it, they're all gone. So and again, same deal. Couldn't find the bulbs. Couldn't get them. So I changed them all with LEDs. A little bit fiddly, but you never have to do it again. And I think I was set at like 10 milliamps or something, because that's ample. Because I need like backlighting for switches. It wasn't really a big deal. This is probably a bit more important. This has to be seen during the day, so I'm going to run this a higher current. But I'm sort of just trying to decide how I'm going to do this now, because obviously this doesn't work, and I have to put a load resistor on it, well, a current dropping resistor. So I'm going to go to the computer in a second and then do the calculator for it, to work out what resistor value I need. But yeah, that's the plan. I think I'm going to just put this holder back into one of these spare slots, take the bulb out, maybe. I'll put it on a spare holder. There you go. Right, I'll probably just do that and solder the diode directly onto those pads, directly onto here. That's what I think I'm going to end up doing, because I don't think there's actually any way I can use the holder with a resistor without soldering onto the holder. I don't really want to do that either. So unless I can use the holder to push it in, but I'll just solder onto there, and that'll be the end of it. In fact, I might, depending on brightness, I might do some brightness checks and see which one ends up being brighter. Whichever one's brighter, I'll make the handbrake, because the handbrake is more important to see rather than the exhaust brake light. Right, so I'll come back after I've had a play around with that. Okay, so this is the DigiKey calculator. There's lots and lots of resistor calculators on the internet. Just do a search for LED resistor calculator, and there's heaps of them. Right, I mean, sure, I could sit down and work it out myself, but it's just easier just to use one of these things and just play around with the numbers instead of trying to calculate it over and over again to see what the tolerances are and that sort of thing. So I'm basing this on a 28 volt average voltage. It's going to be less than that at times. 24 is obviously the standard, and it's like 1.5k it works out. So I'm going to do, that's on 14 milliamps. I mean, I think I can do up to 20 milliamps comfortably anyway. but I'm just allowing for voltage changes. So if I do 14 milliamps, then I think that should be enough. This particular LED's got a 2.8 volt forward voltage drop. It's rated at, it's supposed to be 3.1, but according to my testers it's 2.8, so I'm going to use 2.8. It's not a huge difference anyway. I mean, if I put 3.1 in there, it changes by very little, you know, hardly anything. What's that, 20 ohms or something? It's like, don't worry about it. But for sake of accuracy, 2.8. And so I could have up to 20 milliamps current on this thing. That takes the voltage, well, the resistance right down to 1.2k, which is, I want it to be long lasting. I don't want it to die. You know, I don't want to be replacing this thing over again, because it's going to be soldered in, so I want it to last forever, which is why I was thinking around 14 milliamps, around that kind of region, and that should be bright enough anyway. And that's a 1.6k, or, you know, 14. I think 14 milliamps is 1.8k. Right, so it's like standard value. So, you know, I'll try out that, and with 28 volt input, and I'll do the same with the bulb, and I'll compare brightness levels just visually, and we'll see how that looks. And if the LED is brighter than the bulb, then I'll put the LED in the handbrake place. Otherwise, it will go into the exhaust brake place or location. I've just decided to change the resistor values. I was going to use 1.8k, but I was thinking about the actual wattage, because I've only got 1/4 watt resistors. I haven't got 1/2 watt resistors, unfortunately. So I've had to scale those down a bit. So I've got I'll put 2.5k in there. I think it was no, that can't be right. 2.2k. Sorry, 2.2k I put in there. I've got all sorts of weird values. So I've got 2.2s, which bring that current right down to basically 1/4 of an amp. Sorry, 1/4 watt. So that's, you know, bearable, but it's only like 10 milliamps on the actual LED. So a little bit dimmer, but yeah. Well, at least the resistors aren't going to get too hot. So okay, done. Right, so I've had to do 2 bulbs. So that handbrake one, which I tested before, which was, I don't know, I tested it the first time, it didn't work. Second time I tested it, it did work. And I did it again just now, and I was going to do it for brightness comparison, and it didn't work again. So again, okay, well, that bulb's probably dodgy then. So now what I did, I couldn't get the thing to work again. So I've got 2 dodgy bulbs which are in these 2 holders, which I've just put back in there to not lose them. And I've got the LEDs with resistors on here, soldered directly onto the pads. So that is what I've had to do to repair it. You know, closer look. Right, not ideal, but they work. It does the job. So you know, if I could get the parts, I'll use the right parts. But yeah, life's not always that easy. Right, so that's a little workaround. You know, I don't like to bodge things like that. I really don't. But if I can't get a bulb, you know, what am I going to do? You know, I can't wait a month. That's ridiculous. So anyway. So those are in there. Now I need to go and refit the thing and test it. I know it works on my bench, but I just need to go and test it in the vehicle just to make sure I've got polarities correct in case I've got something backwards. I believe it's okay, but I believe this one here is okay, because it's got a common rail, and according to the diagram for this, the common rail is positive because all the individual signals are negatives. So you know, therefore it must be common positive. And then the exhaust brake one, it doesn't actually specify, but it's got this diode here across it. So yeah, you're probably fairly safe to say that the positive side of the diode is the positive. It's not likely to be anything else. So alright, I'm going to go and refit this, and hopefully it works. And if it does, then this will be the end of it. So have a good one, catch you later, give a thumbs up and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, let's hope it works. Bye.